Hello and welcome to CadoinkStudios. I have for you today another game in round 2 of the Gold and Below tournament. This time it is between Animus and Blackhawk. So spawning in the top left corner as the purple Zerg player, we do have Animus, our host for this Gold and Below tournament. And his opponent is, of course, Blackhawk, the green Terran, spawning in the bottom right of Ohana. Animus saying GLHF for real this time. Must have had a little mess up with game number 1. This is game number 1, but maybe they tried a game before it and everything lagged out or something. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but my throat is a little raspy. A few days ago I had nose problems. That seems to be clearing up a little bit, but now my throat is like rah. But I will be casting some more. I'm excited to continue to cast. So we have Blackhawk going for the wall off at his ramp. Normal thing for Terran players. In fact, a very good thing. Especially for a lot of strategies, and especially against Zerg. Being 6-pooled or early Zergling run-bys can be so annoying, and so walling off can prevent a lot of things like that. So my recommendation to a lot of new Terran players who are losing to very early on pressure, wall off. It's pretty useful. I did it all the time in beta. Now I don't, and I probably should. But it's become like a sense of pride now. I'm like, no, I don't even need to wall. And then I lose to like 3 roaches. But it's a good thing to wall. You guys should do it. All the pros are doing it. All the cool kids are doing it. Looks like Animus is going for a 15 hatch. Indeed, we do see the hatchery going down. Boisterous's favorite Zerg build, by the way. So, Boisterous, if you're casting this Golden Below with me, you'd be very excited about the 15 hatch that Animus just did. He's putting down an extractor, and then he'll be putting down a spawning pool just in a little bit once he hits 200 minerals. In fact, this drone is going out to do that at this time. Boom. So, some very good things coming out for Animus. In the meantime, Blackhawk has gotten his 13 extractor, or refinery, excuse me. So he will have early gas. So this is kind of play if you want to go for higher tech. You know, you don't really want to stick on barracks for too long. So we're going to see a factory come out for Blackhawk, and most likely tanks, and then some marines as well. He'll probably go like a marine tank play. Probably going to be getting combat shield or stem here with this refinery. I don't think he's going to be going for any kind of marauder build. We have a little bit of SCV drone fighting action in the front. Looks like the SCV wasn't able to take him out, and his poor buddy was watching on the other side of the fence. And yeah, we do see a factory going down for Blackhawk. So yeah, very typical. If you see a 13 gas, he's not going to stick on marine barracks. He's probably going to go for factory, maybe even starport. In fact, if he gets that second one down really early, suspect a starport, because that's kind of what you need in order to deal with a starport. And it looks like he will be going for a second factory as well as another refinery. So he might be going for mech. Might be going for mech play. However, it is kind of hard to support. You really need to take this expansion and then take these 2 gas geysers, because mech is very gas heavy. And so if you can do this, if you can take this expansion, you can support mech, and then you'll end up with actually a ton of minerals. And so you can just make macro command centers or orbital commands, and then continue to cast down mules, and then take more expansions when you feel safe and when your mech army is ready. Looks like he will be going for siege tanks first. He's getting that siege mode up, and he's going to be building some siege tanks once he has the gas for it. 2 factories this early on is a little bit hard to support, but he should be able to do it in not too long of a time. After he gets that deal dealt with, he should be able to pump out tanks 2 at a time. In the meantime, Animus is just doing the usual thing, getting his queens up and spawning larvae. Looks like he's going to be going for a roach warren, and so he will be going for probably a pretty early roach push. It could be very nice timing attack. In fact, it can do a lot of damage. If you see here, there are only 3 marines right now, and they're not at the ramp, which they really should be, or not behind this wall. And so the roaches can come up and just crush these marines and then get into the base no problem. Especially when he has a number like 8 coming out like he does at this time. 8 roaches against 4 or 5 marines. No competition, no contest. However, if Blackhawk can get these siege tanks out, he should be able to hold on, especially because he has siege mode finished. and so he can just siege one of them up on this high ground, move his Marines up to the high ground, and then he'll be fine. So it looks like Blackhawk is not going to be going for mech. He is putting down a second barracks, which is more along the lines of Marine tank, like I was saying earlier on. Marine tank, a very fantastic choice as well. However, very unfortunately for Blackhawk, his opponent is going roaches, and Marine tank isn't the best against roaches. You really want to have marauders in that mix, because roaches are just so strong. They just kill Marines so fast, and they can burrow and regenerate their energy. They're just really, really good units. And you don't really want to stick on Marine tank. You want more of a Marine Marauder tank, so that the Marauders can do and soak up the damage that they need to do. Also, if you get that concussive shell up, when the roaches try to run away, you can continue to kill more of them. It's really nice, actually. So it looks like Animus wants to do this push with about 10 roaches. It's going to do a lot of damage. There's only one siege tank on the field, as well as a small number of Marines, and so Animus will be moving up across the ramp. Siege tank taking some shots, but it looks like Animus will be targeting down the tank. The tank goes down, and now it is a bunch of roaches to a few Marines. This is not good for Blackhawk. Luckily for him, he has this wall as well as 2 more siege tanks. Nice, just absolutely crushing these roaches, and sweet, very good, killing them all. Very, very nice job, Blackhawk. See how this wall, this ramp, this helps so much. I mean, Animus could not get up there. He would have had to go up as far as he could. He might have been able to pick off this tank, but then he would have had to kill the supply depots as one of the supply depots to pick off the other. And so now Blackhawk has 2 tanks. I like this double factory build. It's a little bit gas heavy, but it probably saved him because he was able to have tanks just a little bit sooner. He also decided to put a reactor on this barracks, so we will indeed see Marine tank. This is definitely the nail in the coffin as far as that build goes. Would really like to see some upgrades come out for Blackhawk. He did get stem. He really needs to get that combat shield, and then he also needs to get some engineering bays up. Would also like to see him take an expansion, as he is behind. In fact, if we look at the income tab, he is behind by about 200 to 300 minerals. Oh, well, it bounces back and forth depending on mules and these sort of things. But in the worker supply, we see 43 workers, 224. So he really needs to focus on getting his economy back up and running, as he does not have that many workers. Looks like Animus is deciding to get a Hydraless Den, so he will be pumping out Hydras, going for a Roach Hydra mix. He really needs to start focusing on spreading Creep at this time, because Creep is so good, especially against Terran, because a player who has Creep can move his Hydralisk around the map a lot quicker, a lot better. And in addition to that, you have Vision, and it's so nice, so useful. Also has some Overseers, should be moving around with that, checking things out. In the meantime, he's getting that Glial Reconstruction out, as well as the Carapace, so that his Overlords can move a little bit quicker. He did get that lair. He's also going to be going for the double Evo Chamber, so they can get those upgrades up a lot quicker. Also getting a 3rd Queen. I think this is so he can spread the Creep, just like I was talking about earlier. It's going to be so useful. Roach Hydra on Creep is so strong. And then, of course, getting that very important Groove Spines upgrade that increases the range of your Hydralisk, makes him so strong. Yeah, actually, I'm excited for Heart of the Swarm when they buff Hydralisk. I think Hydralisk are one of the coolest units ever. I mean, just look at them. They're like little snake dudes with little claws. They're just awesome. And so I'd like to see him used a lot more. And in Heart of the Swarm, I think they're getting a speed upgrade, so that'll make them a lot more useful. Hopefully they'll get a little bit stronger too. They are a bit squishy at this time. But yeah, what can you say? I love Hydralisk. So he's going to be getting +1 range and +1 armor. Very strong. And of course he's going to get range because he does not have any Zerglings out on the field. He's only sticking with those roaches and those Hydras. He's also taking a 3rd base, which is very useful. That's going to help him even more in the economy front. By the time his opponent is taking his natural, he'll have his 3rd done, and he'll start to get that saturated, and he'll just be looking good economically. He's going to be taking down these destructible rocks, just so he can spread some creep in between and have a better path, just in case any silliness happens. Also, interestingly, a Baneling Nest. He knows that his opponent is going for Siege Tank, and while Roach Hydra is very good against Marines, The siege tanks could do a lot of damage depending on positioning. He can't really push the front, and so banelings will allow him to kind of run in and just kind of like tank a lot of the damage. It doesn't really matter if they land. It just buys them the time, buys the roaches the time they need to run up the ramp and start targeting the tanks. And so I like this play. And then of course if the banelings land, then you're in a great position. Back at Blackhawk's base, we see he's built up a nice little tank force, 6 tanks, very good. He's also got his expansion up and running. Getting that mined really should turn this into an orbital command. Also decided to get a starport as well as an armory. This is an interesting choice. I don't think he'll be getting Thors. I would rather he get some sort of attack upgrade. Yes, indeed. He's going to be getting the vehicle plating for his siege tanks. Also going to be putting a reactor on the starport, most likely to pump out medevacs so that he can heal his marines. However, if his opponent were to tech switch into broodlords, he would be able to pump out Vikings very quickly. And if you see here, we have a ton of banelings. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He just wants to run up the ramp and just bust whatever he can. Ooh, and Blackhawk is going to scan that, so he does know it's on the way, and hopefully he'll be able to plan accordingly. Also, that centrifuge, I always have a problem with this. The hooks, baneling speed, is coming out of the baneling. That's going to make him a little bit quicker. Going to make it a little bit stronger. It'd be super sweet if an opponent sent some overlords with his army and then spread creep right before the attack, just so that he could push a little bit harder, a little faster. I just thought about that. That'd be a really sweet strategy. Anyway, we do see an infestation pit coming up for Animus. I don't know if he'll be getting infestors, but regardless of whether he is or not, he can tech up to a hive. In the meantime, Blackhawk is moving out with his siege tanks and marines. Hopefully he'll get a good position. However, he's about to get on creep, which could be very dangerous. A lot of banelings coming in. The banelings, oh my gosh, banelings just destroying everything. Oh my goodness, was not able to get his siege tanks up in time. Wow, but ... nice little ... by Blackhawk. Oh. That is so painful to watch, and oh man, Animus just throwing up a heart. Oh man, he loves banelings. Banelings are so good, especially on creep when they have speed and your siege tanks aren't sieged. My goodness. Animus is in a very strong position. I don't really know what Blackhawk can do at this time. His income isn't that far behind, but he doesn't have an army. He has 1 tank and 3 marines. Actually, Animus should really push right now, as he could take that 1 tank on very, very easily. However, Blackhawk being a baller and having 2 factories, he will be able to pump out tanks 2 at a time. I've said this many times, but yeah, this is going to save him, as now he has 3 tanks, and then soon he'll have 5. Also getting those medevacs out. I keep forgetting the name of medevacs, which is so funny, because they're like one of the best units ever. So he will be pumping out those medevacs. Probably should try to get some drops off, especially because his opponent is moving out. However, he doesn't really know he's moving out at this time. I think Animus is just going to position himself in front of Blackhawk's base and then do a big attack here in a minute. Ooh, it looks like Blackhawk is moving out with one marine, just kind of sliding past the army. The army does not see it. And it looks like each player is kind of gearing up to, I don't know, Blackhawk is gearing up to defend and Animus is gearing up to attack. It looks like a changeling is running around the base. So he does see what's up there. He sees the 5 siege tanks and knows he should not engage yet. So he will be building 26 roaches. My goodness, 26 roaches at one time. And if you see, the army supply is really the big telling thing right now. 116 army supply for Animus, and Blackhawk only has 48. So Blackhawk is in a lot of trouble. We'll have to see how these siege tanks hold up. Siege tanks are really, really good, and so hopefully he can get in a really good position, and maybe Animus will attack at a bad time, and he'll be able to hold it. Looks like the giant roach army is complete and will be moving across the map here very soon. In the meantime, Animus is going to be taking another expansion. This is so good. Even if you're way ahead, keep expanding. Keep doing the things you normally do, because if you make any big mistakes, it won't hit you as hard. He's going to be getting +3 probably here pretty soon. Also getting a lot of Zerglings out, so I suspect we'll see another Baneling kind of bust, as that worked out incredibly well. So we'll have to see 50 Zerglings coming out, so he'll be able to produce quite a bit of banelings. In fact, he has the gas to do it. They are running across the map at this time, and they will meet up with their giant Doomball army. Actually, not that many Hydras, going for mostly Roaches. I think that's because they're tanks. There are a lot of tanks on the field. Tanks are so strong, and here we go. Oh my goodness, look at that. All those banelings morphing. It's going to be so strong. Because, like I said, even if these banelings get killed, even if all these banelings get killed, even if all these banelings get killed, even if all the banelings get killed, it'll buy just enough time for the Roaches to get up the ramp and do the damage they need to do. So, we'll see how this plays out. Looks like Animus is getting ready to attack. A lot of banelings. He is moving in with baneling speed. The banelings moving up, a lot of them dying, but it looks like a few of them might land, and yes, all those Marines go down to the banelings, and now the Roaches, like I said, can get up this ramp and just destroy everything else. Yep, that's GG. It is indeed. I'm sorry to say it, Blackhawk, but Animus definitely took game number 1. However, Blackhawk, you can win game number 2, and then we'll move on to a third game, and the winner of that will move on to round 3 in the Golden Below tournament. So anyway, I'm Cadoink. Please check out my channel at youtube.com/user/CadoinkStudios. You can send me replays at cadoinkreplays@gmail.com. I'm going to cast every replay I get. However, it's going to take a little time because I've got a few more of this Golden Below to do. So I will be casting more Golden Below in the future, and then after that I'll be getting back to the community replays as well as some pro replays. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be moving on to game number 2 between Animus and Blackhawk.